So this is Gabi from Teamdeathnote. I'm over here to bring you a deck profile of Royal Paladins. This is an Alfred build. I know there's a couple of Alfred builds already out there, but I just wanted to show you, a different way how to run this deck. I see a lot of people running this deck the very same way, Alfred Azib. Of course, Alfred Azib is cool and everything. He's very good. He's a constant 2 crit. Well, in this deck, I don't have Alfred Azib. I am planning to put 2 Alfred Azibs into this deck. This deck is mainly Legion. When you want to stride, you can. But overall, this deck does swing for high numbers. You can bring up your whole field from basically 0 to 5 without, basically by Soul Blasting just 1 card. Persona Blasting 1 card from your hand and Soul Blasting 2. So, okay, let's get to this deck profile. The starter that we'll be running is Guidepost Sage Elrond. Guidepost Sage Elrond, I know you guys know what this guy do, most of you. But for those who do not know, when you have a Vanguard with Alfred in his name, Counterblast 1, you put this dude into your soul, you search your deck for a grade 2 or less Royal Paladin, and you call it to Rearguard. This is like a very awesome starter. Now, to the grade 3s, we are running 4 King of Knights Vanguard Ezel. 4 King of Knights Vanguard Ezel. This is the Legion mate, well, the Legion leader to Alfred itself. Now, I do like this card. I do like the combo that this card really provides for this deck. It makes the deck very fun and very consistent. There's a very consistent deck. Now, the thing to this deck is this. This guy, he Soul Blast 2 and Persona Blast whoever's on the Vanguard circle. So even if you're Legion or not Legion, you can do his effect. If you're Legion, you can discard either Alfred or him from hand. If you're not Legion, you have to discard him from hand. And if you do, you can search your deck for up to 1 grade 1, 2, and 0, and superior call them to the field. Okay. Now, on top of that, when you Legion, this is a 22k base Legion. Well, 21k base Legion, and on top of that, you have Alfred's effect, which he gains plus 2,000 for every Royal Paladin unit that's out on the field. So if you have a full field, it's a constant 31,000. The only thing is that you cannot boost him, but it's basically 31 from the Vanguard. So okay. Now going into that, we're heading down to the grade 2s. Now on the grade 2s, we have Swordsman of Light Amos. 2 Swordsman of Light Amos. This dude is basically Blaster Blade before he was Blaster Blade. He's actually very good because his effect is, if you have a Vanguard with Alfred in his name, he's an 11k body. So he's 11 by himself, which is good. And on top of that, if his attack hits the Vanguard, all you have to do is Counterblast 1, search your deck for a card that has Blaster Blade in its name, and you superior call them to the same spot that this dude was. So you can attack, hit, Counterblast 1, get Blaster Blade from your deck, superior call them on top of it, and you can actually activate Blaster Blade's effect without paying the cost. So you can do Blaster Blade's Counterblast 2, pop a grade 2 or greater Vanguard, a grade 2 or greater Rearguard and retire it without paying its Counterblast 2 cost. So this card is very good, but we run him at 2 and we run Blaster Blade at 2. Trial deck version and the promo version. But you can also run Blaster Blade Spirit in the deck if you have it. Now, moving on, we have a card that's kind of like Sword Me. We run 3 of him. His name is Sage of Salvation Benin. Now, Sage's Salvation Benin is very good. Should be a staple in this deck. Once he gets called out to Rearguard, you Counterblast 1. Search your deck for a grade 1 6,000 attack and call it to a Rearguard circle in the same column as this dude on your deck. So, let's say you went second. Your opponent hit you for, a damage. You ride a grade 2. You call him out. Since he's on the Rearguard effect, Counterblast 1, search your deck for, what's her name? That grade 1 chick, Hidden Sage Miron, which her effect is when she gets called to Rearguard circle from your deck, you Soul Blast 1 and draw a card. So that's very good combos. I know he's 8, but they'll be swinging for 14. When you're grade 2, your opponent's Vanguard might be 9 or under. So, yeah, that's good. That's good for hitting. Now, another grade 2 that we run is Swordsman of Light Blaster Axe Growl. Blaster Axe Growl. I had this dude at 4. This dude here I'm not gonna lie to you, he's one of the people that makes the deck very dangerous, because I actually like this card, and he's very consistent too. I have no problem of superior calling while he's out there. I basically have 2 of him and 2 Junos behind him, and they keep swinging for 26,000. So his effect is, if I have a Vanguard with Alfred in his card name and he's out there, anytime, well, there's only once per turn. When someone gets superior called from out the deck to the field, he gains plus 5,000. So now just imagine, you have 2 of him out there, and you have 2 of the grade 1, which will come to him a little bit later on, which basically has the same effect as him, that they gain 5,000. It's a constant 26 columns, and the Vanguard swinger for 31. So it's some very, very annoying stuff. And last but not least, the last grade 2, the one person that we tech 1 of, Swordsman of Light, Blaster, Javelin, LaRousse. Blaster, Javelin, LaRousse. Okay, this card right here, sometimes it can come in handy. This is a what if card, which is you choose 2 cards from your hand. If you have a Vanguard with Alfred in his card name, you choose 2 cards from his hand once it hits the rear guard circle, and you soul charge them. You search your deck for 2 high beasts, and you superior call them to the field. Now, there's high beasts like a grade 1 called Petgall. He's basically, when he hits the rear guard circle, you Soul Blast 2, you unflip 2, so that way you can have more Counter Blast if you need them. You also have like Margle, which is the draw trigger. You Soul Charge him, you give him 3,000. So now, this is a what if you short on Counter Blast, you could go into him. So you get those last 2 Counter Blasts to fill up that last row if you didn't get to do it with the Legion effect. So, okay, going to grade 1s, of course, we have 4 Perfect Guards. It's not the Unflipper Perfect Guards, because, let's face it, I do not have for the Unflipper Perfect Guards. It's not really needed. The Unflipper is not really needed in this deck, since, you know, you can unflip, of course, but if you want to run the Unflip Perfect Guard, you can. Next, grade 1, we have 3 Junos. This is the guy who I'm talking about. Swordsman of Light, Junos. Junos has the same effect as Blaster Axe, which, if he's out on the field and you superior call someone from your deck, he gains plus 5,000. Once again, there's only once per turn. So he can become a 12k attacker or a 12k booster to make those numbers. Second, we run 2 Hidden Sage Miron. 6,000 grade 1. If she gets superior called from the deck to the field, you Soul Blast 1 and you draw a card. Next, for the grade 1, we have 4 Laurel Knight Silius. 4 Laurel Knight Silius. I know a lot of people say, oh, why 4s? And since there's a Legion deck. I like to run my decks as I like to confront any type of challenge. So depending on what the field is or what type of deck your opponent is running, I like to have chances of either Stride or Legion. And you don't want to Stride by dumping Alfred or the other grade 3, which is Ezra from hand, because you want those to do his Persona Blast to fill up your field when you don't have the hand too. Card that we tech 1 of, Petgall. Petgall, you know, I already said earlier, he hits the field, Soul Blast 2, unflip 2 damages. Now, on top of that, we'll be going to the triggers, which is very easy. We run not 4, but 6 crits, 6 criticals. We run 4 draw triggers, the Margles, you know, for that extra soul charge and extra 3,000. Then we run 2 stand triggers, which he's actually pretty good. I actually teched him at 2 because his effect is when he boosts and hits the Vanguard, you retire this unit, search your deck for a grade 1, and you call it as rest. So you can search your deck for, what's her name? Hidden Sage Miron, or Mirren, and you can do her Soul Blast 1 draw card ability if you never rolled into the grade 2. And last but not least, 4 heals. Of course, 4 heals. You know, you're not going to build the deck without heals, because even though I know some people that they do have 16 crit-based decks, but me, I'm not really going to go into that. Now, for strides, this deck does not have all the strides that I need, because I am missing strides, but I'm not going to lie to you. This deck is very, very good, very competitive the way it is right now. This is why I'm even making a deck profile of it, but we go into Wonder Blade. Gablade is actually good because Gablade, you can do the little combo where if your opponent takes the hit, which is basically almost every time, your opponent's not going to block that first stride unless he has a perfect guard because, let's face it, they swing for too many numbers. So if he takes that hit, you can Superior Call him, which you counterblast one and Superior Call her, and you draw a card. So you just basically, with the hit of Gablade and one counterblast, you just did another column, plus you drew a card. So Gablade is a good starter. We have 2 Samuel. Now, Samuel, he could be for early game rush. When you bum rush your opponent, you do this and you deal him an extra damage. Or he could be a finisher. I'm not gonna lie to you, because your opponent's at 4 damage. You go into Samuel, you have a full field. Counterblast 2 when he attacks. You deal the damage. He just went from 4 to 5. Now he has to worry about blocking Samuel in the other 2 columns that you have, so you can have the other 2 columns swinging for 26k as well. And last but not least, we run 4 Transmigratory Dragon, Holy Square Dragon. This dude right here, he's a stride for Alfred. If you have Alfred in his soul, first of all, you get to unlock all of your units. So if you're going up against Link Joker, he unlocks all of your units. He gives all of your rear guards plus 2,000 attack. And you gain this effect at GB3. That for every rear guard out there you have that's Royal Paladin, he gains plus 3,000. So this dude will be swinging for 40,000 no boost. If he has a boost, it's over 40,000. And you know that's really annoying. Plus you're giving the plus 2,000 to the very, very, very annoying column of the 26 hitters. So this is what you always want to have right here. You want to have these dudes behind each other, the grade 1s. You always want to have this. Now, behind the Vanguard, you can have whatever, really, you know. But you always want to have this out there. Him, and find a way how to Superior Call someone, which is very easy in this deck, and they gain plus 5, plus 5, plus 5, plus 5. So, yes, guys, this is my Royal Paladin Alfred deck. I hope you like, enjoy, subscribe. Gabby from Teamdeathnote.